welcome back for another special edition, the most special edition this year of the Variant Cast because it's the last episode of the Variant Cast this year. I'm here in person
We're in
with
person
Trent,
again.
and we got a bit better of a setup, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully the audio is going to be a bit better. It's going to be overall a bit smoother of an experience.
Yeah.
But we got, if you're watching from YouTube, we got multiple camera angles again. Say hi, Trent.
We got the 3-cam setup. What's up, guys?
The 3-cam setup. So we're going to be doing some awards. This is the end of the year awards show, so I hope you stay tuned for all of those. To start, though, we are going to get into a bit of news. Nothing crazy, but just some rumors going around on the streets, like a Die Hard prequel featuring a young John McCain.
What
is in the works? Yeah.
Do we know who's playing him?
This is just the streets. The streets are talking that it's in the works. That is all we have so far.
Okay.
But I imagine it'll just, maybe they'll just de-age him.
Well, I think Bruce Willis. It's Bruce Willis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Unbreakable.
Yeah, I think that he's not doing so hot these days. So I think that who knows? Maybe they'll sell his. Maybe they'll use his likeness, and then just that'll be the first fully AI generated voice.
I could totally see that. Like an actor that's just like done with acting, just like, yeah, sure. Here's my likeness for $7 million.
Yeah. Well, it was already rumored that he sold his likeness to like some agency or something because he's like, so that his family could keep making money off of him, like him making movies, and like he's all like okay with it, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, a lot of people get into like the morality of it. It's like, oh, should we be reviving him? But I say especially if they're willing to sign it over. If I was a famous actor, I'd be like, yeah, sure. I want to be in movies 100 years from now. Why not?
Yeah, definitely.
Like might as well just like preserve it. All I got in this planet's a legacy.
Yeah.
So let's let it cook. Then Adam Driver said he's done playing Kylo Ren in Star Wars. Quote, they're doing stuff, but not with me. I'm not doing anymore.
Okay.
So
have it.
He's on his Hayden Christensen arc.
Did he say Kylo? Did he say specifically as Kylo though?
He said
if he comes back as Ben Solo.
He's saying is done playing Kylo Ren in Star Wars is what the headline says. These are all just rumors, so who knows?
Yeah.
But they're credible rumors, and I mean that's a quote. So
yeah, I did hear him probably on that same press junket. He said that like he like poured everything that he had into Kylo, and you could really like we talked about it on our last Jedi episode. You could really see him just going all out with that performance.
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, it's fine the way it left off, but if he wants to come back, I wouldn't mind seeing some more Ben Solo.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think it's a shame, but it's just another example of the Star Wars machine. It has a formula, takes actors, spits them out, and then in 10 years we'll all celebrate him. And he'll come back, and it'll be like a cool moment for the people that grew up with those films. And we'll just do this over and over again until the end of time.
Yep. Star Wars movies will never go away.
Nope. Christopher Nolan is in the news for something other than making movies. He said that there's no superhero science fiction film coming out these days where I don't see Zack Snyder's influence.
Yeah. It's an interesting take, but I see where he's coming from.
I do, yes.
And I feel like it is like after Man of Steel, there was a sense of like, okay, we gotta like tie this, like not as in sense of like having to be dark and gritty, but it needs to be like grounded in reality, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's tough though, because it's like I don't think there's a single Zack Snyder film where you don't see like Sam Raimi influence.
Yeah.
It's just like it's silly to like attribute some of that stuff. Like he took it and tweaked it, but
yeah.
I mean, I assume that this question was just like asked because Rebel Moon was coming out.
Yeah.
And someone asked him a question about Zack Snyder, so like I'm not reading too much into it. It's not like he's championing him around.
And I'm pretty sure that Christopher Nolan like had like supervision over the Man of Steel script
Oh, okay.
when they were making, because like there was still a possibility that Christopher Nolan was going to do more in the DC stuff back, because that was right after the Dark Knight trilogy ended, and then they weren't sure where they were going to take it, and I think that he helped make Man of Steel a little bit. Like he helped develop the script a little bit and helped get the movie off the ground. But yeah,
I mean, that's the best Zack Snyder movie, so
yeah,
kind of wish he did more.
Yeah,
because there definitely is like Man of Steel. I think had a decent blueprint for like at least a somewhat interesting universe. I think
yeah,
at the end of the day, it ended up not being super interesting because just plot points didn't come to fruition and et cetera, et cetera. But I think it was set up to be interesting.
yeah,
I don't think the movie was particularly amazing or anything, but like it doesn't have to be.
yeah.
It's probably the best Superman movie in a minute because I know a lot of those ones in the night. I haven't seen them all, so I don't know. But Avengers versus X-Men is being considered by Marvel Studios. I imagine everything's being considered by Marvel Studios.
Yeah. I'm sure that this was one of the things where they're like, what if we did this? And somebody was like, yeah.
And then someone leaked that what if, like, oh, it's being considered.
Yeah.
I could definitely see it, though, especially if Deadpool does well. It seems like that, of all things, we are set up for the X-Men universe colliding with the MCU.
We need way more depth with the X-Men characters. I feel like it would just like kind of be boring, honestly. I mean, it wouldn't be boring, but like it would be kind of just like unoriginal if they just took the original X-Men cast with Sir Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman and then just made them fight the Avengers, you know?
Are you saying you're not interested in seeing the X-Men fight Falcon? I mean, Falcon and Captain America? But like Captain America is...
I'm saying that just to bring them back, just to have them fight for what reason? Like we don't know the plot points yet, but like that just seems like it's just more like cameo
for sure
stuff.
But I think that what they're trying to do is just not have a flop.
Yeah.
And how do you not have a flop? It's probably paying Chris Evans a shit ton of money and have like some Wolverine claws fucking collide with the shield in the trailer. Like that's probably gonna do okay. Like,
yeah.
But they could just make a good movie as well. That's also an option.
Because it was also rumored that they're starting development on a Young Avengers movie.
It's been a rumor for 4 years.
I know, but like this was like okay, we're getting it off the ground now.
Right. This is the time the Young Avengers is actually gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right here. There was most of them. Avengers Secret Wars is shaping up to be 2 films. A source says it's a giant 5-hour movie with a year-long intermission.
So, Infinity War and Endgame.
So, okay. Quentin Tarantino didn't make his Star Trek movie because he didn't want it to be his final film.
Yeah.
Would have been, quote, hard R.
Yeah. I saw this too. Tarantino famous for always saying that he's only going to do 10 movies. So he's like, I'm doing 10 movies and then I'm out. So
hey.
You got to respect it. You got to respect one of the GOATs. But would have loved to see a Star Trek movie with directed by Quentin Tarantino. Would have also loved to see the new Justified series directed by Quentin Tarantino, but that didn't happen either.
Right. This is something that came down after we filmed the last one, but it's been a minute. James Gunn says cameo porn is one of the worst things in recent superhero films.
Mm-hmm.
If a character is in a film, they have to have a reason to be there story-wise, was his point.
Yeah.
And I think he does that really well. But this quote was obviously taken and put next to him saying that The Flash was like the best superhero movie he's ever seen.
Yeah.
And that's obviously a bit contradictory.
Yeah, kind of like a little bit concerning, I feel like. Not concerning, but like a little bit like, oh, so I mean, we all know that James Gunn always just like talks to the fans and tries to like, I feel like he tries to calm fans down as much as he can. That's why he keeps saying like, oh, we cast this person as Superman, we cast this person as Lois Lane, like trying to be transparent with the fans of being like, no, this is how we're doing things, and don't get mad, but this is what we're doing. But like then he just goes on and says something like that, but then it's like, I watched The Flash. We watched The Flash.
Yeah.
Why was Wonder Woman there? I get maybe I get the stuff with the other Supermans, like the horrible CGI stuff. Maybe that makes sense, but like to say that like the Wonder Woman cameo and the Batman cameo, like the I guess the whole fight scene in the beginning just did not need to be there.
Yeah. It's really contradictory to that movie in particular.
Yeah.
I would say though, at the actual like James Gunn directed movies,
no,
he's speaking facts there.
And I saw people try to say that like the Guardians movies, like the cameos were bad, like the David Hasselhoff one, and it was like, no, those served purpose in the story.
Yeah,
like those all meant, like David Hasselhoff was like a past of Peter's and saying like he was his dad, so like that made sense. Or what was the other one? Like Sylvester Stallone wasn't even a cameo; he was just straight up had a role in the movie.
Yeah, no, like even when you think about like the holiday special with Kevin Bacon, like it was very much like it was the whole story, and he plays with that really well. I think honestly, from where it's set up, as long as he is actually in control, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah.
However, I can see it getting ugly. I kind of just wish he'd stop talking to fans. Like,
a
little bit.
He just needs to go off grid.
Yeah, just like until Superman comes out and you could be like, okay, this is the product that I'm going to be bringing. Stop just talking about the product that you're going to be bringing, because I don't know. I don't care personally.
And
I know
it just
people do.
Gives people more like, people just twist your words, whatever you say.
Yeah. He's got to understand at this point, the only people that actually like follow him are the people that don't really like him.
Yeah.
Like I don't follow everything James Gunn says. I'm a big James Gunn fan though. I don't agree with everything he says, and I don't hang on every word that he says.
Yeah.
He's just gotta shut up a little bit. And
like I still remember when he said that Adam Warlock was not showing up in Volume 3.
Yeah.
He's like Adam Warlock will not be introduced in Guardians 3 right after 2 came out. I was like, sure enough.
A few things that also came through. Mandalorian Season 4 is being turned into a movie. Apparently. That's a rumor. Streets, maybe.
How long ago was that?
21 days ago.
Okay, I think that was debunked.
That was debunked.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it then. We're moving on. This one was not debunked, though. Dwayne Johnson will star in his first A24 film, directed by Benny Safdie. The film will be a drama that follows MMA fighter Mark Kerr during his peak era in the UFC as he struggles with addiction, winning, and love.
That could be good.
It probably will be good. It's an A24 biopic. It's going to be like a automatic.
This might be exactly what Dwayne Johnson needs.
He does need this for his image right now.
Like he's just like Black Adam. He's like he's larger than himself at this point.
A lot of the DC stuff with with The Rock did hurt his image a lot. Like his, I don't know, like his everyman rankings where he was kind of like a bit of an internet darling, or I guess movie darling, whatever. But his act has kind of gotten a bit old.
Yeah.
And he's got to reinvent himself. And I think doing a more serious film like this, like it kind of reminds me of when Adam Sandler did Uncut Gems, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was his first A24 film.
Yeah.
It's kind of becoming a little bit of a playbook, you know? If you are a struggling actor and you just need some, more cred, just do a quick A24 film.
Yeah.
Boom. It's
definitely.
And then adding on to a bit earlier, Adam Driver says his Kylo Ren arc was overhauled, which we all kind of expected. He was originally supposed to be most committed to the dark side by the end.
Yeah, I read
And
that too.
it definitely feels like that's what Rian Johnson was building to. Like almost like by the end of the trilogy, it would have been like Kylo Ren was the big bad, which we've never gotten a Star Wars movie. It's always been
getting redeemed.
That's like a common theme. So that would have been, I think, continuing with the theme of subverting expectations. Everyone expected Kylo Ren to be redeemed, and he ended up being redeemed by the end of Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Or not Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker. I always butcher that because it's a stupid name. And yeah, we talked enough about that. If you're interested in our thoughts on The Last Jedi, go and watch that episode. But it's just tough to read stuff like that, knowing it probably would have been better. But hey.
Yeah.
James Gunn says he has watched Joker 2 and given notes. He also heard a pitch for the Batman 2, but no script yet.
Thanks, James Gunn.
Yeah. He also says it was Matt Reeves' decision to keep the Batman out of the DCU. Quote, it's his choice, and we respect that.
So what we all expected. So what we all suspected.
Yeah. Cool. So that's going to be pretty much all the rumors in the streets, what they're saying right now. Interesting point in Hollywood as we come out of the strikes and into 2024, where it kind of feels like the Wild West. There isn't a juggernaut anymore. There's no Marvel DC conglomerate or Marvel Disney conglomerate that is just every big release is a Marvel or DC or superhero thing.
Yeah,
it's not like that anymore. Superhero fatigue, which had been talked about for 10 years, is finally here, it seems. And it's going to be interesting to see how studios respond.
Yeah. And I hope that this year showed studios that if enough love and care is brought to the characters and the plot of the movie, that people will go see it. Whether it be Barbie or Oppenheimer or Killers of the Flower Moon or Anatomy of the Fall, any of them. Like, if people make good movies, people will want to go see them. And word of mouth, I feel like, is huge because like we were all like, I feel like a lot of times we're focused on like the first number, like the first weekend, the opening weekend numbers. But I feel like a lot of movies this year had a lot of legs and made a lot of money not on opening weekend, and hopefully studios start making more movies like that.
I think that's dead on with the internet now. More than ever, you're seeing word of mouth is going to carry these movies. So having good public perception on the internet does matter. It's not like the end all be all because worldwide markets are completely different than domestic markets. But for the domestic market, you saw the effects that the internet had on Barbie, Oppenheimer, on all of those movies. Like, think about without the Barbieheimer, how does Oppenheimer do financially? Like that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
We think of it as like this big hit because it was, but it didn't do as well as Barbie.
Yeah.
And without that, is it just kind of does it make money because that movie was advertised pretty hard? And when there's advertising, it's not cheap. So it'll be interesting to see how studios tackle just perception. I'm most interested, obviously, in Marvel because they are most in the dumps right now. So they have to figure something out. And we'll see if they do that. But let's talk about some of our awards for the year.
Yeah.
It is the end of 2023, which means we're going to look back on the best and the worst and the etc. of 2023 as we get closer to 2024. I think this is probably going to come out like day before New Year's or on New Year's.
Yep, New Year's Eve.
Look at that. So, good chance you're listening to this in 2024. Yeah. How's the future looking? Let us know in the comments. But how we're going to do this is we got 16 categories. Each of us is allowed to veto as much as we want. really. But we're going to take turns picking a category in no particular order, just whatever we're feeling. And we're going to take it. We're going to tell the other, hey, this is the winner. If they disagree, they could veto, and then we'll have to come to a decision together. But if there's no veto, then that is the winner. That is how we're doing it. Nice and simple. And it's a great honor. If you're listening and you win Best Actor, be sure to wear that with pride.
Yeah, please reach out. Please come on the pod.
I think we know who's going to win Best Actor. But why don't we just get that out of the way? I'll go first. I'm taking Best Actor. And I feel like it's only right, this being the Jaw fan club, that it goes to Jeremy Allen White.
Yep.
I haven't actually seen Iron Claw yet, but I will, and I have seen The Bear season 2.
Yeah.
And if there's one guy it's only right, Best Actor, the variant cast awards,
Best
Actor, it's gotta be Jeremy Allen White. So
hard agree on that.
So Jeremy, your award will be in the mail. Make sure you pay for the postage on that, because I'm not going to. Yep. If you want to reach out, come on the pod, let us know. I'm sure you're listening to this right now. So.
Oh yeah. So do I pick I pick a category and the what I want?
Yeah.
Who I
pick? Just grab one and say it. We'll take turns here.
So I will pick Animated Movie of the Year.
Okay.
And I'm going to give it to TMNT.
Okay. I'm okay with that. Yeah. Mainly because I don't know.
It seems like like a whole movie. Like Spider-Verse. Like Spider-Verse is great. But it's also 2.5 hours. TMNT, nice hour 45-minute movie. Like really compact story, really great animation, like new animation style, and Animated Movie of the Year from the variant cast goes to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem.
I feel like we haven't talked about that movie too much. I just wanted to say, like, with that movie, I think it's the best TNMT product.
Yeah,
I think it's awesome that it got reintroduced to audiences, and it's a good portrayal of the material. And I'm really stoked to see kind of how that looks going forward. So
yeah, definitely.
I'm totally cool if they want to do sequels and stuff for that. So yeah. Now I think I will take. Let's see here. I'll take Worst VFX.
Okay.
Because I think that one is obvious. I'm gonna go to the solo cam for this one, because I gotta have a little moment here as I get close in here. The Flash has the worst VFX, not only of 2023, but 2022, of 2021. I'll give it to the 2020s. The Flash is your winner for worst VFX of the 2020s. That wasn't even the category, but I would have given them a pass if the director didn't come out and say it was intentional.
Yeah.
That upset me.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was parts of the movie that were supposed to be kind of blurry because of the Speed Force. I get that. That's understandable. But we're not stupid, and there is time where people just look like rubber.
Yeah.
There's a lot of time where people just look like rubber.
Yeah.
And you can't defend that with Speed Force.
Yeah, I agree. It was just bad. I never want to think about that movie again. Every time I think about that movie, I was like, oh yeah, that did exist. I did watch that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to do Breakthrough Star 2023.
Okay.
And I'm going to give it to No Hard Feelings actor Andrew Barth Feldman.
Okay.
One of my favorite performances of the year. He was really great in it, and I think he's only been in 1 or 2 movies.
Broadway guy.
Yeah, big Broadway guy. big just Star Wars nerd in general. Big he loves pop culture. There's another podcast called Podcast The Ride, and he did an episode of that with them, and it was really funny.
Oh yeah, shout out Andrew
Barth Feldman.
Barth Feldman. He did the rendition of Maneater in the movie. I've listened to that like 3 times outside of the movie.
Yeah.
I genuinely that's such an awesome performance. Reminds me of like the Forgetting Sarah Marshall scene where he does the little musical number, but better executed. Because, little Broadway to him.
Yeah. Love that.
So then we have a few here. I just wanted to real quick take a look at these options. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go and take action movie of the year. So we have a movie of the year, animated movie of the year, comedy movie of the year. We're not going to be awarding any movie 2 of them. Because there definitely could be some of those, but if they win one, we're just taking that category. So the action movie of the year, it's been a rough year for superhero movies, but gotta give it to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah.
It's a culmination, a well-written culmination, has probably the best antagonist in a Marvel movie in some time for me. I really like the High Evolutionary. He's just evil, but he has like a motive that at least makes sense to me for like a, omni being that's like a god. And he is a god to these creatures because he created them, but he's like an artificial god. It's a cool character.
Yeah.
And all of the Elseworld stuff is super cool. And it's just full of heart. And you can watch it and like feel something no matter if you've even seen the first 2 movies, but you probably have seen the first 2 movies. And because of that, all of the scenes with Rocket really resonate. You're just waiting on the edge of your seat for like that moment that is going to make you cry. And you just like feel like you're kind of on the edge of your emotions the entire movie.
Yeah.
Until it ends and you feel all warm. So I love those type of movies, and the fact that you're able to wrap it into this cute action superhero heist thing. It was really fun. I think I don't know how to rank the Guardians movies because I love Volume 2. I love Volume 3. The first one's obviously great. So as a trilogy, capping it off, couldn't really ask for anything more from James Gunn there.
Yeah. Just all around great movie. The hallway fight scene in particular, great. Set to No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Yeah, love it. Great action movie.
Yeah.
So next category is biggest waste of time of the year. So let's be honest. Marvel has been great this year. We've said that. I'm gonna go ahead and select Ant-Man for this one. And I'll tell you why. Yeah. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because now looking back on it, now with all the Jonathan Major stuff, that movie is probably a waste of time if you watch it from now on. It doesn't have very good visual effects, probably up there with The Flash, in my personal opinion, and not quite as bad, but it's up there. But I just think it's a waste of time. Paul Rudd is fun in it, but everything else, waste of time.
That is, I think it's not what I would have put up there like 2 months ago for sure. But with the context we have now, it definitely seems like they're just abandoning the Kang storyline.
Yeah.
What's the point of watching this movie? If you're doing like a rewatch of the MCU, it's getting to the point where you have to cut movies out. If you want to like be able to watch them. And obviously you're going to watch all of like the
WandaVision.
Iron Mans and Captain America. I'm just talking like a full rewatch, right?
Yeah.
There's no reason to include this movie in a full rewatch, and there's no real reason to include Ant-Man and the Wasp in a full rewatch. So it kind of sucks. Ant-Man, I think, had potential. We talked about what that movie could have been like with Edgar Wright. I really just didn't have its own identity. and that showed in the sequels. They didn't really have a place to go with it. It was, I think Ant-Man is kind of peak MCU in the sense of like everything people don't like about the MCU, the quips, the bland dialogue, the bland cinematography, the bland color grading, it's all on display in Ant-Man most of the time.
Yeah.
In that whole series, if you're talking about Guardians being the best trilogy in the MCU, or at least I would say that Ant-Man is the worst trilogy in the MCU, and it sucks, but that's reality.
Yeah, agree.
So then it's time to take worst series, and I guess if we're just already piling on Marvel, dear God, what were they doing with Secret Invasion? Secret Invasion, right? It's something that had been rumored for years. I remember being a 17-year-old kid watching YouTube videos on theorizing who could be a Skrull in the MCU. It's gonna be this big high stakes thing of what's Tony gonna do when he finds out Rhodey's been a Skrull this whole time? Turns out he's not in it. Turns out it's extremely boring and cost a lot of money. It's something that it feels like it was a sunk cost fallacy where they put a bunch of money and resources into this idea, and it's almost like, why is it here? Because the Secret Invasion storyline should be something bigger than just a 5-episode miniseries that gets just taken out. Now, obviously, they did expand upon it more in the Marvels, and I think that's what they were wanting to do, is go the Marvels, or go Secret Invasion into the Marvels, into like just that whole story arc of Kang and the universes colliding and all of that great stuff.
Yeah.
It ended up not working out for them, and now they're just left with this mess of a show. And talking a bit more about the show, there's some okay parts. There's the first episode. It's like, wow, this is some street level Marvel. We're getting some like decent, it's gonna be like Samuel L. Jackson just doing like spy shit, and I was like kind of excited. First episode, it was a little slow. Second episode, but I'm like, okay, what are we building to?
And then Nick Fury goes and grabs his coat from a secret location in his eye patch and puts it on, and Rhodey being a Skrull for like 2 months, like they couldn't even go as far, like they didn't even want to retcon that far back and be like, oh no, that would have messed with his relationship with Tony, and that would have ruined the end game final scene because Rhodey was there. But it was like, oh, he's only been there since the last TV show.
It's just like, why even make him a Skrull in the first place?
It's like we knew that somebody was going to be a Skrull going into the show, and if you have one other actor aside from Samuel L. Jackson in the show, like people are gonna like if freaking I guess I did kind of suspect that Martin Freeman was also a Skrull, but like you just suspect that those people are Skrulls.
Yeah, you suspect they're going to be on set for one day. They're going to shoot all their scenes, and they're going to be a Skrull. Like, Don Cheadle obviously was on set for more than one day, as he was a pivotal character.
Yeah.
But you're right. It takes all the emotional weight out of it if he's only been like that off screen. Like, I can't feel betrayed by him if he's just
like, oh, he didn't do anything while
he
was a Skrull. Yeah, like with nothing, no moment that we like. I can't like look back on a Rhodey memory and be like, oh yeah, that was the Skrull that was falling out of the sky in Civil War, or like like that would have been like at least interesting, or like, dang, he really did turn back into Terrence Howard in this series.
And I'm not going to sit here and be all outraged at how they did Maria Hill, because like she's in reality, it's just Maria Hill. Like I shouldn't be upset, but she has been there a long time.
Yeah.
And it really did feel a little like just off.
Yeah.
Like that should have happened in an Avengers movie. Like they should have just like, maybe she like admits to Fury, like, hey, like she kind of insinuates, hey, I'm just so you know, I may not be who you think I am, and then he's like, I don't care, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then in the Avengers movie, she dies and everyone realizes, and then maybe that's the thing that unites the Skrulls and humans is knowing that Maria Hill, I don't know, do something. And we got to talk about, it could have been worse VFX if we wanted, the final fight scene.
Yeah, with the Drax arm.
The Drax.
that just lives rent free in my head.
It's gonna live in infamy. Like everyone had the same thought. Like I watched it with people that aren't like huge superhero fans. No. It's like you really couldn't get anything better than the Drax arm.
Yeah.
We couldn't do a Hulk arm.
Yeah.
We couldn't do like it was apparently from the battle, that one battle, right? Like the big in-game battle. What did Drax even do in that battle?
Yeah. Like, yeah, the fact that they collected DNA from every single Avenger. From what?
From what? I wish they just kept it a bit more concentrated.
There's a puddle with some blood with some blood in it on the ground. They're like, "Yep, check that DNA." Oh, yep, we got a
Drax arm.
Yeah, we got Gamora. We got her. Ladies and gentlemen, we got her. Wild stuff.
The less thought about that, the better. And I imagine the Skrull subplot will probably be put on the back burner after the Marvels.
And I don't think we'll ever see Emilia Clarke again.
Yeah.
She's gonna be out there. It's gonna be like, oh yeah, eventually it just faded off the serum.
Yeah.
She's back to a normal human.
Imagine she just like comes in the next time we see her, she just has the Drax arm. It's like it won't go back.
Yeah. Somebody help me.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will do soundtrack of the year.
Soundtrack of the year.
So
you've gotten overexposed again.
So yeah, super blurry.
Yeah, I don't know what happens halfway through there.
So
we're back here.
It's kind of a score as well, not necessarily soundtrack, but I'm gonna go with Oppenheimer.
Okay. Our best soundtrack?
Yeah.
I watched Oppenheimer last night. I'll talk about it in a sec. I guess I could talk about it here.
Just talk about the score if you want to.
The score's good. The score's the best part of the movie. Yeah, it works really well in terms of like scenes in driving both tension and just like emotion behind scenes. A lot of the time, I think that might have gone. I think we might have lost camera one, but that's why we have multiple cameras. Whoa, look at that. What other podcast do you see doing that?
Self-produced podcast.
Yep. Mid-episode switching camera shots. You don't see that everywhere. What were we talking about? We talked about the score of Oppenheimer.
Score of Oppenheimer, yeah.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, I can't think of any. The only other one that would come to mind would be the Spider-Verse soundtrack. That would be the only one.
Yeah, the Spider-Verse soundtrack is also good.
Because the Spider-Verse soundtrack works really well with the animation. Yeah. Like there's scenes where it actually interacts with the animation, and I'm thinking about the first one with like the Prowler.
Yeah.
Especially
but even in like Gwen's World.
Yeah. The second Gwen's World. There's a lot of really good kind of just moments in that, but I'm fine with Oppenheimer having best soundtrack, I think, or score. I think it was really well done.
Yeah.
So that would leave, let's see what I got here. Make sure I don't butcher this because I'm going with best director, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the answer is quite clear. This guy, all he does is just make hits. All he does is just make absolute bangers. And that's Paul King.
Yes.
Director of Wonka, director of the Paddington movies. I don't think many people had high hopes for Wonka. I think it was one of those things where it's Timothée Chalamet, and it's Wonka. Both things are heavily memed in terms of the reboots of Wonka. Were not seen very favorably. And Timothy Chalamet is, he's seen favorably, but he's not necessarily seen as like a great actor or anything. So that's kind of was set up. A lot of people thought that this might be a bad movie, like this guy.
Yep.
But that's because they doubted the man, Paul King.
I did.
This man can turn anything into an absolute banger. Give him a teddy bear. Give him a
purple coat with a cane.
I stopped myself before I said something.
Give him a marmalade sandwich.
Give him a marmalade sandwich. He's gonna make a great movie out of it. Paul King.
Yeah. No argument here. All right. So we'll go with best series.
Okay.
So there's a lot of good TV that I watched this year.
Yeah.
I want to say The Last of Us. You can veto that if you want.
I'm thinking right now.
There's a couple other ones, but The Last of Us in particular, just had great cinematography, had great acting, had one of the best TV episodes up there with like The Bear, like the episode with Nick Offerman. That was like, I feel like one of the best episodes TV this year. So that's why I'm putting it on number one.
Yeah. Trying to think if there was anything. The ones that are coming to mind, like obviously like Gen V was good. The Bear was really good, but that was a season 2, and Gen V is a spinoff. I don't think a lot of people expected the Last of Us adaptation to be as good as it was, so for that reason, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah, it's like it's such a solid series. People are looking for reasons to hate it, and like I'm sorry, there's no like discernible reason to actually dislike it. For like acting performances or anything like that, you are really scraping at the bottom of the barrel trying to find things to complain about with that show.
Yeah.
Just say you don't like watching two dudes kissing and move on. You know, it's okay. You can be uncomfy at things. Just don't mask it under it's bad writing. So shout out Last of Us. It's a great series. I'm excited to see season 2. I don't know if it's gonna follow the part 2, but if it does, I'm sure we're in for another completely balanced and normal discussion for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So then we're gonna go
totally not controversial season 2.
Yeah.
Second game. Oh.
Yeah, no, this everyone loves the second game, and it's not something they have to worry about. So then we're gonna go with, let's see, we've done, yeah, we did actor of the year.
Comedy movie of the year.
Yeah, I'll take the comedy movie of the year. And for the comedy movie of the year, there wasn't a ton of movies obviously this year, because of the strike. Just wanted to kind of go over some of the nominations before I give mine. Obviously, there's things like Cocaine Bear, which, you know, but there's also things like Bottoms and Lady Ballers. There's that movie. There's Leo, and I guess you could throw in like TMNT in there. But I'm gonna give it to I'm gonna give it to Bottoms. I don't know if you'll veto that, but
nope.
I think Bottoms is surprised me as a movie. It very much reminded me of a lot of those early 2000s like high school movies, which is one of my favorite like genres. But it kind of played with the just, concept of those and really amped it up to like 11 in terms of like just the jokes and the actual comedy behind it.
Yeah.
So I recommend watching Bottoms. You watch the trailer. I remember thinking it was going to be terrible. by the trailer and ended up being a pleasant surprise. So definitely recommend it if you want a few goofs and a few gaffes, a few silly times.
All right. I love it. Love the choice. I think I will do action set piece of the year.
Okay.
So it's one that stood above all else, literally and figuratively. It's the motorbike jump from Mission Impossible.
Oh, okay.
So this man, Tom Cruise,
Yeah,
went up on top of a mountain and rode a motorcycle off a cliff. In this is all real. This is all documented in a featurette, and he did a free fall into a parachute and then dove down. And then in the movie, he lands on top of a train. So pretty fucking sick. And they crash that train at the end. For real. So that's got to be the action set piece of the year.
Yeah, no, it can't beat that. You can't beat that. So yeah, no arguments there. Obviously, there's some decent ones with like the hallway scene, but we already gave Guardians some love.
John Wick 4 has a really great one.
Yep.
With Keanu fighting on some stairs.
Yeah, I'm with that. I'll go with the. You already did that. I'll do actress of the year.
Okay.
Because I think I really want to give it to one in particular, and I'm just confirming that this was a 2023. Just confirming. But I don't think you do know. I'm gonna say because I'm gonna get.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm
looking it up. I feel like you would have known.
No, I'll really just wanted to make sure I was gonna pronounce this correctly. But I'm gonna give it to one that, and this might get vetoed, but I think her performance in this movie was nothing short of spectacular, and in a movie that has its flaws, I think everyone came out really liking her, and that's Iman Vellani.
Iman Vellani.
Iman Vellani plays Miss Marvel in the Marvels, and she had an uphill battle, being that her introduction was in a Disney Plus show that not everybody watched, and she had to somehow come across as likable, being the character that shouldn't be likable to most people, the fangirl that's fawning over Carol Danvers, and the way she handled that, as well as just the criticism around the movie, I think was just spectacular, and I think that she deserves a lot of credit for. She's a very young actress, and she handled everything with way more maturity than all of these grown adults doing this. So
definitely
give props to her.
Yeah, stood her own with Brie Larson and Samuel Jackson, which impressive on its own.
Yeah, and I do want to just clarify that I'm not saying she's the best actress, but this year, in terms of like impact on a movie that was talked about a lot, maybe not a lot of people went and saw the Marvels, but it was sure talked about a lot.
Yeah.
And I think everybody came away saying the same thing, that she was the best part of the movie.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say Ayo Adibri. That would have been
a good one, because you have obviously Bear season 2 and Bottoms
and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
and TMNT. Oh, you should veto that then. I forgot about TMNT.
Yeah. She plays April.
We got to give it to Ayo.
She had a year.
Yeah, she had a year. Obviously, the Marvels was a recent thing where we recently were hearing all of this stuff. But in terms of actually dominating the entire year, Bottoms came out pretty early. Bear season 2 came out pretty early, and then towards the end of the year, we got the TMNT, and all of them great. You could even potentially put her in the voice acting, because she did great as April there. So
yeah, definitely.
really, really standout performances, especially I think in Bottoms. She really shined.
Yeah.
And she has to share scenes with Jaw. So
Yeah, she absolutely kills it in The Bear.
yeah,
Scene where she like making that omelet.
yeah,
Sprinkling the potato chips on top.
yeah. I'm
Good
in
stuff.
agreement there. We'll give it to her. So our actor and actress of the year is just The Bear. Guys.
Oh yeah,
Let's go.
I'd love to see it.
Mm-hmm.
So best on-screen chemistry is the one I'm gonna go with.
Okay.
And I will go with Shameik Moore. Is that his name? And Haley Steinfeld for Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, no, for sure. I wasn't thinking about that one.
Yeah, I thought that they were probably the best on-screen relationship that I saw, and two really great performances. Especially towards the end, you could really feel. I feel like the connection between Miles and Gwen.
Yeah, and we're obviously just eagerly waiting for that next one to kind of see where that story goes. But I just know that if they don't end up together in the end, I'm gonna be hurt. I'm gonna be hurt for sure, because they've been building that for a few years now. I'm emotionally invested. Emotionally invested. It's getting there.
Yeah.
I'm emotionally invested in that character, at those characters and their relationships. So if they do that to me, I am going to throw a fit, but that is fine.
Yeah.
So where are we at with these categories?
I think that's the last one.
We didn't do movie of the year?
Oh yeah, we did not do movie of the year.
Look at that. We saved it for last. Save the best for last.
We could even each pick a movie of the year.
Yeah. Well, my movie of the year, we're talking about it right now, was Spider-Verse. And if I also just want to give a shout out to Barbie, because we haven't really talked about Barbie too much.
I was like, we haven't
comedy
said
of the
Barbie
year.
at all.
I was thinking it for comedy of the year, but I was trying to pick between Bottoms and Barbie. And I'm going Bottoms just because I think it at lower budget, and I think it did more with less. I totally understand if you have Barbie above it, though.
Yeah.
I just think that Bottoms as a comedy is a bit better. As a movie, as a spectacle, I could definitely give that to Barbie. I think Barbie might be the better movie. I think Bottoms is the better comedy.
Yeah.
Suck on that.
Barbie also best unexpected musical number with the with Ken playing a guitar on the beach.
Yes.
Good shit.
And also just best wardrobe. I'll give him that as well. Best costumes goes to Barbie. But movie of the year, mine is going to be Across the Spider-Verse.
Mine is Oppenheimer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, watched it twice.
Mm-hmm.
Just felt something afterwards. Like the movie really made me just like, I don't know, think about things. Just think about just like the world in general, you know. And I feel like those are the best kind of movies. But also, I just like on the rewatch, I felt like it was even better. I felt like there's 3 distinct like parts in the movie, and I think that like each one each hour complements the other hours really well. So you got the first hour of them all like gathering all the scientists for Los Alamos. Second hour is up until the Trinity test, and then the third hours afterwards. And I think that each one has like almost like its own like mini narratives inside of them, and I feel like it was greatly directed, fantastic. Cillian Murphy, great performance. Robert Downey Jr., great. So yeah, Oppenheimer is my movie of the year.
Okay. Obviously, we're allowing both. So
yeah.
I will kind of talk a bit more about Across the Spider-Verse, just with the reason it's my movie of the year is not only is it groundbreaking, I think, in terms of animation. Yes, TMNT has a similar animation style, but it does not have the same quality in terms of the amount of stuff that's going on, the frame rates, and just how they play with the soundtrack and different styles. and just having like 2D and 3D and just stuff that we never thought would be possible on like a big budget like screen like that for that long of a movie.
Yeah.
It's just really stylized, really well written. We've talked about it before, I'm sure, but I think it's some of the best writing you're gonna get out of like a comic book movie, especially when you watch the first into the second, and then hopefully into the third. They continue with just how tight the story has been. And yeah, absolutely no complaints about just like the direction that they went and the way the movie like moves. It's a longer movie, but it's paced really well.
Yeah.
And guess I'll go into some Oppenheimer here because I watched Oppenheimer for the first time a couple days ago. It was 2 days ago now, so I've had a couple sleeps on it. And I will preface that I am not on as big on Christopher Nolan movies as other people are. I don't think they're quite as grandiose as they're often portrayed to be. Not that they're bad movies in any sense, but I do think that a lot of times the messages in them are kind of the same messages as a lot of movies, but they're portrayed in a way that makes them seem more complex.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay. But and that's, I think, on display in Oppenheimer, but it's told really well in a lot of, like, the message of Oppenheimer is like it's a message that has been screamed at us for the last 100 years.
Yeah.
And it's also something that is not new, but it's done really well. It's done in a way that's pretty fresh for, this genre, which I don't know exactly what you would consider this historical drama action genre-ish.
Yeah.
But I thought it was good. I think you made a great point about the three different pieces of the movie and how they do kind of both mirror each other and also kind of blend into each other.
Yeah.
And that helps out the pacing of a 3-hour movie a lot.
Yeah.
You have to have almost chapters, and I think it does that really, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have too many complaints about it. It's an extremely well-made movie. I guess I just didn't feel I don't know, moved by it in any way.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like this is not, and maybe I need to rewatch it. Like you said, it wasn't until your second rewatch that you able to appreciate it, and I just had it on the monitor. Maybe I need to put it on the big screen, make it a TV thing, or and see where we go from there. It's definitely one that I'm open to watching again.
Yeah.
And it was enjoyable. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, given how much like I disliked Dunkirk.
Yeah. Need more Jack Quaid though, huh?
Need more Jack Quaid.
Always more Jack Quaid.
More Jack Quaid. Now we're gonna go ahead and get into our 2024, our life in 2024, and our life in 2024 is gonna continue with our rots and tots.
Yep.
After the first month of December, I'm 4-0, riding high. Trent, you're 2-2.
Yep.
So you got to make up some.
Change this time though. I got a good feeling.
All right, we're gonna give you first pick. You could pick a rot or a tot, whatever movie you want.
Did you say any of them?
Yeah.
Rot or tot?
Any of them, and then I will take the reverse.
All right. I'm gonna take a tot, and I'm gonna go with Jason Statham's The Beekeeper.
Okay.
So this, I saw a trailer of this. Looks like a Jason Statham movie.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like The Equalizer or one of those movies. But I don't know. I feel like it might be good.
All right. I can get with that. What I will say is, since you're doing a tot, I got to do a rot, and I'm gonna take The Beekeeper as my rot.
Okay.
It's directed by David Ayer.
Damn.
Which doesn't necessarily mean it's bad.
Yeah.
But that's my strategy going into this.
Okay.
Is I'm gonna be, and it has Josh Hutcherson in it.
Okay.
So my strategy going in is just go off directors, and David Ayer doesn't have the best track record for me. And yeah, Jason Statham, he's
certainly a guy.
He's a cool guy, but is he enough to make a movie? We're about to find out on January 12th, 2024.
Was the Meg 2 rotten? Do you know?
Meg 2 probably was not rotten. I feel like all the Meg movies are always just like fresh.
Yeah, probably.
They're always like 70% fresh.
Yeah.
It's 27%.
Nice.
So
looking good for that beekeeper one.
So now I will take a tot, and I'm gonna take maybe a controversial tot, but I genuinely think that this is gonna be an enjoyable movie. And the way Rotten Tomato works, as we all know, is just it being enjoyable, recommended or not. So I'm taking Mean Girls. It's going to be a musical. It's going to be capitalizing on the nostalgia-driven world we live in today. And I think this is going to be the first big hit since Barbie. I think this movie probably does some decent numbers, just given the cultural relevance of Mean Girls today. And I think it's going to be a decent movie. I don't think we're going to be seeing anything in the 90%, but I think this is going to be a solid high 70s, low 80s movie that does really well at the box office.
Okay. So I'll go with a rot next.
Mm-hmm.
So I will go with Jake Johnson's directing debut.
Ooh.
Called Self-Reliance.
Shout out Jake Johnson.
So you might know Jake Johnson from New Girl. It's probably his most famous role. Or Spider-Verse, as we were talking about it. He plays Benjamin B. Parker in Spider-Verse. But
or from the Challenge documentary.
Is he in a Challenge documentary?
Yeah, he's a big Challenge fan.
That's awesome. But yeah, I normally directorial debuts, I feel like, don't do very well, critics or box office. But so yeah, I'm taking that as my rot.
Okay. All right. Now your tot, your second tot.
So my second tot was gonna be Mean Girls, because I feel like that's the obvious answer.
Should have taken that first then.
Yeah. I'll go with the Lakeith Stanfield biblical movie called The Book of Clarence.
Okay.
So yeah. Don't know much about it.
You're just assuming it's good. Book of Clarence.
Yep.
All right. So then that was your second tot.
Yep.
You have one more rot. I have both a rot and a tot to do. So for my rot, I honestly like the two that, it's funny because the two that I picked out were Beekeeper as a rot and Book of Clarence as a rot. So we're going head to head. So I'm going Book of Clarence. I think biblical movies, historical movies in general, have a very high probability to get panned if they're not historically accurate, if they're not entertaining, if they're not believable. There's a lot that can go wrong with biblical movies. So I'm that's my thought there. However, from what I'm seeing, it looks like it's actually pretty interesting. So could
a decent cast.
Yeah, it'll probably be good. But there's not a ton. And in reality, I probably should switch these. But for my second tot, I'm taking Night Swim. It's directed by Bryce McGuire, right? And it's starring Wyatt Russell.
Okay.
So Wyatt Russell, Captain America agent. What is
agent? U.S. agent.
U.S. agent. Also, obviously, the son of Kurt Russell.
Yep.
And from what I've looked into, Bryce McGuire, he is kind of a disciple of Sam Raimi. So you have kind of like a little next generation. Instead of Kurt Russell, you got Wyatt Russell, and instead of Sam Raimi, we got Bryce McGuire. So it's coming out January 5th, so soon. We'll see if that's good. It's a horror movie. I'm imagining it's going to be another one of those, it takes us $10 million to make, and hopefully it's going to make 200, 300 million at the box office. That's their hope. And I can see it. So that's my second tot. And you have one last rot?
Yeah, so I got one more rot. It is Kevin Hart's new Netflix movie called Lift.
Oh, that's a money one right there.
Yeah. So do you need to know more?
No. I would like to, though.
I think it's a heist movie.
Okay.
It says it is starring just Kevin Hart.
Heist movie starring Kevin Hart.
$500 million in gold that they try to steal as is being transported mid-flight.
That's gotta be heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a rough one. So solid pick there.
Yep.
All right. So that is our rots and our tots. My two rots are The Beekeeper and The Book of Clarence. And then my two tots are going to be Night Swim and Mean Girls. What are yours, Trent?
And mine are The Beekeeper and Book of Clarence as my tots to go against Ty's rots.
Yo.
And Lift and Self-Reliance are my rots.
Nice. So if anyone forgot how that works, essentially if it's fresh on Rotten Tomatoes after release, that's 1-0. That's a win. If it is rotten or whatever you predict, you get it. Yeah. But that is our show, I think.
Yeah.
Unless
do you want me to do you want to see my letterbox stats?
Oh yeah, let's go through Trent's letterbox stats before we sign off. As he's getting those pulled up, I'll say thank you for listening this year. As we go into 2024, we're definitely going to be putting the foot on the pedal and trying to figure out what exactly this show is. And I thank anybody that has watched any of these, even for a few minutes as we get into that. So yeah.
And hopefully we got some more stuff coming with the Variant Cast. Love to get a guest on here at some point.
Yeah, we need a guest talking about maybe even having 3 people. Need someone maybe that just has like the terrible takes. Yeah. Because me and Trent, we have pretty similar like views on movies and stuff, which we enjoy talking about it. But maybe you want to see some conflict.
Yeah.
And other than me saying Oppenheimer isn't that great. That's all I got for you guys. I'm sorry.
All right, so I watched logged 133 movies this year.
Nice.
Not bad. But this is the meat of it right here.
Mm-hmm.
Top actor watched Jonah Hill.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because so I rewatched the 21 Jump Street movies because Kirsten had never watched them. And then I watched War Dogs with him and Miles Teller. And then I watched Moneyball again because I hadn't seen that in a while. And then he just showed up in Django Unchained when I watched it. and obviously he's in Wolf of Wall Street too. So yeah, he was my top watched actor, with number 2 being Vin Diesel. Mostly because he plays Groot. And
when did this become Beautiful World?
So yeah, just Guardians. I watched Guardians three times. So that was why Vin Diesel's up there. And then let's go to most watched directors. James Gunn, tied with Martin Scorsese and Chris Nolan. My top watched directors.
That's a hilarious top 3.
Yeah, very base top 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was about it.
That's 2023 for you. And like I said, appreciate everybody for watching, and make sure to catch us next week when we probably gonna be talking a little Percy Jackson, maybe talk a little we got a few things.
Maybe we'll give some predictions of the year.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of movies coming out this year that got delayed because of the strikes. So hopefully we'll see a bit of an uptick in what's happening. Big stuff with Marvel and DC news coming through. So if you're interested in that, make sure you stick around, because no matter where this show goes, I'm sure that will always be a big part of it. So
yeah.
Like I said, appreciate y'all, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's, guys. Peace. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.